Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Black Hole podcast entitled Femme Party, which is also the title of a book I've written. And I'm reading that book chapter by chapter, episode by episode for Season 2 of the podcast. Today we'll be reading Chapter 12. And before I begin reading, I always precursor by saying any money raised, any profit made from the sale of this book will go towards starting a technology company similar to the one proposed in the book and building a solar farm in my hometown. So you can find the book by searching Femme Party on Amazon Kindle for 99 cents, or you can go to either of my websites, mitch4mayor.com, that's Mitch, the number 4mayor.com, or plotm.com, that's plot, the letter m.com. And you'll find a link to the book and this podcast on those sites. So let's begin with Chapter 12. Mitch is at the mayor's office in the city-county building of Pittsburgh. He has just finished a meeting with some of the city's leaders and asks his chief of staff, Sienna, to hang back in his office. The two of them take a seat in some chairs. Mitch says, "Now that we are transitioning to our own cable system here in the city, my plan is to develop some patents the city can own and manage. I also want to partner with a historically black college to develop a whole home electrical system. The system will incorporate batteries in the home. The goal is for each home to store enough energy to heat a Pittsburgh home with an electric furnace on a typical winter day." Sienna says, "Why do you want to partner with an HBCU to develop this system?" Mitch says, "My hope is that it catches on globally so that homes in Africa can use the same system to provide air conditioning for the home. I want to partner with an HBCU, not a technology college. I've had enough collaborations with CBU, and the University of Pittsburgh is on my back about allowing them to spearhead the new cable system instead of CCAC." Sienna says, "Before I send out letters to every black college in the nation, help me better understand this system." Mitch says, "It is a computer system that tracks electricity usage in a home. It is incorporated into the electrical system of the house, and each house is equipped with a battery bank. The battery bank could be large or small, depending on how much each homeowner wants to invest in the system and how much space they have for the batteries. The minimum size of the battery bank would be enough batteries to power an electric furnace for 24 hours. The goal is that every homeowner would invest and add to their battery bank so that they could fully power their home, including their furnace, during the winter months. The computer system feeds into a larger electric market system I want to establish at the city level. This will allow residents to buy and sell electricity using the computer system and battery storage. The electrical marketplace is a free market system where rates fluctuate by the hour or even the minute. If the sun is shining on a solar farm outside of the city, residents can buy the cheap power at that time to charge their batteries. When the price goes up, they can stop charging their batteries until the price goes back down." Sienna says, city homeowners could put solar panels on their property and charge their batteries that way? Mitch says, "Or if it is a hot market at that time of day, they could sell the power from their solar panels to someone else and charge their batteries at a later time. They could wait until there is a low usage in the middle of the night and a wind farm is cutting the price of electric. Using the computer system, the homeowner can set a price threshold, and when the wind farm drops to that price, the system will automatically buy power from that source and charge the batteries overnight." Sienna says, "The system establishes energy independence at the household level. If someone doesn't care about sustainable energy sources, they could buy cheap power from a natural gas power plant at night to charge their batteries, then turn around and sell that power during the day when usage and prices are higher, making a profit." Mitch says, "That's right, but the main goal is sustainable energy. So each source of electricity is tagged and labeled. This way each consumer knows how their power was generated." Sienna says, "As people renovate homes in Pittsburgh, they can purchase and incorporate this system to make money from their home." Mitch says, "That's correct. Homes that get a total renovation and are rewired can put an outlet in each room that allows generation to go back into the system and batteries. What I mean is that a piece of exercise equipment can be plugged into a special outlet in the wall and generate electricity for the home. Sienna says houses are rewired to generate electricity, and while they are at it, they can incorporate data cables for life without wireless internet. Mitch says, we're going to have a hard time eliminating wireless at the individual household level, but that is a hope I have. As the city incorporates the system, it can join the market and buy electricity to power streetlights, traffic lights, and city-owned buildings. The city of Pittsburgh could even pay a premium for energy created from exercise equipment to promote overall health in the city. Sienna says, that is awesome. Electricity from human sources could fetch a higher price because the municipal government wants to promote health. I'll summarize this system in a letter and send it out to the colleges as soon as possible. I'm sure at least one of their technology departments will have an interest. Sarah, the executive from Mitch's company, is at her home in Pittsburgh. She has poured herself a glass of wine and sits down in her living room. She turns on her television and tunes it to the local city channel. On the screen, Mitch enters the city council chamber and approaches the podium. Mitch says, I'm here today to appeal to the city council and the voting public of Pittsburgh to enact a new program that will bring in revenue for the city. This program involves the city of Pittsburgh facilitating its own insurance company specific to homeowners insurance. The city will form an insurance company so that individuals can buy homeowners insurance directly from Pittsburgh. The mayor's office believes this can be done at a minimal cost by creating a parcel website, much like the Allegheny County property tax website, that lists all parcels and the price paid per parcel. The city would also add more staff to the Department of Building Permits. This new staff would act as claim agents when a homeowner makes a claim. The website would list every parcel in Pittsburgh and the assessed property value of each parcel. Homeowners can get an estimate to compare to other insurance companies. Each property will have a file assigned to it where documents, photos, and possibly even video of the property will be saved. When a homeowner hires a licensed contractor to do work to the property and the contractor files for a permit with the city, a document will be generated describing the upgrade. Homeowners will receive a discount on their insurance for each upgrade that makes the house safer or less likely to incur a claim such as new wiring, plumbing, roof, and so on. This will encourage homeowners to hire licensed contractors and will generate more permits within the city that will be inspected by our building inspectors. In order to ensure cohesion over the system, the building inspector will file a detailed description of the work completed for that property onto the city website. All profit generated by the insurance company will be folded into the city budget and voted on by the people of Pittsburgh. There are two reasons why we believe this new program benefits the city and should be considered. The first reason is that the city provides most of the services that keep a property safe, such as police and fire. So therefore, it makes sense that the city would provide insurance to properties within its limits. The second reason is that many blighted and condemned properties exist in the city and it is impossible to get them insured in this state, which makes it impossible to get a mortgage to fix them. If the city has its own insurance program, it can then offer conditional insurance on blighted properties so that people can secure a mortgage from a bank and fix the property. This will result in fewer blighted and condemned properties across the city and significant investment in properties that will bring overall real estate value down. The mayor's office sincerely hopes this initiative will be approved by the people of Pittsburgh so that we can move forward with the program and hopefully save homeowners and renters of Pittsburgh money on their insurance. Thank you. The City Council deliberates on the insurance program for several minutes, then recommends the initiative for vote through the city voting website. All female eligible voters are given 2 weeks to log in and vote on the initiative. A copy of the video that just played live over the city channel will be available to download or stream through the voting website. Mitch drives his electric 1980 Bevy Malibu to a large condominium complex in the East Liberty neighborhood of Pittsburgh. Across the street is one of the headquarters for one of the world's largest internet search engines, a company called Poodle. Mitch makes his way to the entrance of the newly built condominium complex and dials a buzzer. He is rung in, and climbs some stairs to reach the condo he is looking for. He rings the bell, and pop star Taylor Spliff opens the door with a smile. Taylor says, "Come on in, Mitch. That's Tommy on the computer over there. Wave, Tommy." Mitch, waving back, says, "I wouldn't expect you to want to live so close to Poodle." Taylor says, "Someone's got to keep an eye on him." Mitch laughs. "Yeah, you are right." Taylor says, "So when are you going to convert from independent to Femme Party, Mitch?" Mitch says, "As soon as the party is officially recognized, I'll change my affiliation." Taylor says, "We're doing a national vote in September as to who will be our presidential candidate. I'm between Angelina and Lucy, but I'm leaning towards Lucy so that we could get some different representation in the White House." Mitch says, "Well, you are an influencer, so you may sway the vote. How is the artist's house in Reading?" Taylor says, "It's going good. A lot of people want their ugly gas meter decorated. In fact, it's going so well that I decided to sponsor one in Pittsburgh as well. That's why I called you over here." Mitch says, "Oh, really? That's great." Taylor says, "I tried to manage the house in Pittsburgh like in Reading. When I explained what we were trying to prove with the gas company, the artist said they would just call some of their hacker friends to investigate the gas company internally. That's where Tommy comes in." Mitch says, "Interesting." Taylor says, "Tommy is actually a hacker. What we found after weeks of investigation is that you were right, Mitch. Peebles Gas is using insurance money raised from homeowners to build new infrastructure. We found internal memos among executives directing crews to replace gas lines on streets where the most homeowners pay into the program. This will ensure that those lines don't rupture, and in many cases the homeowners continue to pay for the insurance even after the lines have been replaced. Show them what you found in their corporate accounts, Tommy." Tommy says, "We traced the profit from the gas line insurance program to an offshore account that leads right back to the infrastructure budget the gas company uses to update lines in Pittsburgh. You see, Peebles Gas formed a shell corporation to administer the insurance so that it appears there is no conflict of interest. The shell company funnels its profit to this offshore account, and then the money is returned to the gas company to use as it chooses." Taylor says, "By replacing the gas pipes on streets where the highest number of customers pay into the insurance, the gas company can be sure that they won't be called out on an expensive emergency call that is billed to their shell insurance company. It's cheaper to dig up all the gas lines on one street and replace them at one time." Mitch says, "This is great work, but we can't use any of this in court. It was all obtained illegally. That is why I wanted to go the slow and steady route." Taylor says, "Did I screw up by starting a house in Pittsburgh? I just wanted to help." Mitch says, Patience is a virtue, but the information is useful." Taylor says, "How would you use it?" Mitch says, "We can't take the company to court on this, but maybe we can appeal to the court of public opinion by presenting it on the city channel. Give me some time to work with this. Keep all of the proof you gathered secure, and I'll reach out to some people that may be able to help." Taylor says, "Are you going to take on the gas company?" Mitch says, "I think we can expose their unethical practices in a way that could benefit the city." Taylor says, "There's one other thing I want you to know about. Tommy and his friends started a little network in Pittsburgh." Tommy says, "The men of Pittsburgh want to be able to vote in direct democracy, but we realize that it may be years before women allow us to vote in anything other than the general elections. We built an underground voting system focused around the PlayStation 2. Males in Pittsburgh have slowly been buying up every PlayStation 2 gaming system they could find, and just about every household in Pittsburgh with a male in it has one. We've set up servers to facilitate our network, and we believe that it may be one of the most secure networks in the nation because we are using outdated technology. Every time the city puts up an article for vote on the voting website, the men of Pittsburgh vote using the underground PlayStation 2 network. We realize the vote on our network doesn't count officially, and usually our vote goes the same way as the female vote." Mitch says, "I see. I promised the vote for everyone in direct democracy, and your network delivers on that promise. This network could be valuable in other ways politically. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Would you mind sending me the results of the male vote for my records?" Taylor says, "I'll have Tommy bring them to City Hall after each vote. Would you like to borrow my PlayStation 2 so you can vote in your city?" Mitch says, no thank you, I'm fine not being able to vote in the public proceedings. I think I have an old PlayStation 2 in my attic. The females of this city just have some legislation they would like to get on the books before they open up the vote, Tommy. As long as I am mayor, I will continue to introduce the ordinance to allow men to vote in direct democracy every time it's possible. It won't take over 100 years like it did for women to get the vote. We'll get there, sooner rather than later. Mitch and Sienna are sitting at City Hall eating MREs. Mitch shovels the last few bites out of his pouch and throws away his trash. Sienna is still working on her meal in a pouch. Sienna says, you eat so fast. Mitch says, 4 weeks in solitary confinement teaches you to eat fast. Sienna says, what is the plan after lunch? Mitch says, I want you to work on a contest I'm developing to secure some robotics patents for the city. I want CBU Robotics to act as an impartial judge. Sienna says, I thought you were done collaborating with them. Mitch says, they are one of the best robotics programs in the nation, so there is no way around it. Sienna says, what is the premise of the contest? Mitch says, water in my basement. Sienna says, come again? Mitch says, I get water in my basement because my neighbor's gutter empties into the 2-foot sidewalk between our houses. The water gets into the cracks in my foundation and runs to a drain in my basement. Sienna says, okay, and where does the contest come in? Mitch says, the root cause of this situation is that the city's sewage plant, Alcosan, can't handle all of the stormwater running into the main sewer drains when it rains. The city passed an ordinance that if you alter your gutters in any way, you have to make them drain into your yard and not into the sewer. Most of these houses that are attached to each other or only feet apart have pipes on the outside that the downspout empties into, and the water goes into that person's sewer system. Most of these houses don't have a yard or have a very small one, and the water is draining into people's basements because of the ordinance. I think the city should have a comprehensive plan to deal with this issue before they order people to drain their downspouts out into the open. Sienna says, yeah, but the alternative is that the sewer backs up in the low-lying neighborhoods when it rains, flooding people's basements with raw sewage. A little stream of water in your basement is better than a neighbor down the hill getting a whole basement full of poo. Mitch says, that is true, but there has to be a better way. I want to sponsor this contest with the understanding that any solution that is found will become property of Pittsburgh so that it can develop and offer the system to help other cities. Sienna says, so you want people to come up with a robot that seals a house's foundation. Mitch says, that is one possible solution, but let's summarize the problem and see what people come up with. I'll sponsor a cash prize for the winning solution. All possible solutions become the property of Pittsburgh with the option to patent each solution. Sienna says, I'll get on it this afternoon. Mitch is driving to the Oil City Municipal Building. He switches his dash-mounted phone from the traffic app to the Litterbug app. After parking, Mitch enters the building and proceeds to Lucy's office. He knocks and she opens the door. Mitch says, how's my future president? Lucy says, you heard the results of the vote. Mitch says, of course, I'm registered Femme Party now. Lucy says, the party is really picking up steam nationally. Do you think I have a chance? Mitch says, we've needed a female president for a long time now. You have my vote. Lucy says, great. The reason I wanted to meet is on the local scale. Angelina's cable company has offered the Pittsburgh City channel to the Franklin and Oil City markets, and I saw your speech about the city homeowners insurance program. Mitch says, the vote passed. We should be offering insurance at competitive rates by the first of the year. Lucy says, when I prioritize DUI fines to be used to subsidize designated driver programs, you should have heard some of these politicians saying that the police and fire budgets rely on revenue from those fines. This homeowners insurance thing is huge. Imagine if the police and fire budgets came from the homeowners insurance proceeds. Mitch says, the system those politicians set up is one where police are able to keep the spoils of a drug bust for their own departmental use, which prioritizes arrests for victimless crimes. Some of these politicians even set up quota systems for arrests in an effort to measure the productivity of the local police. If we base the police budget off of the proceeds from homeowners insurance, the police would prioritize theft, vandalism, and arson. Lucy says, do you know how many people file police reports for a break-in or robbery and feel like the police are just never going to follow up because they have no leads? With your new system, you could actually reward the police and fire departments for having a year with low or sustained property damage and theft. Mitch says, if the amount payable in homeowner insurance claims remains the same as the previous year or lower, we could offer a bonus to the police and fire departments. They will be motivated to recover stolen goods, maybe even scour online sites and pawn shops instead of spying on citizens suspected of using drugs. Lucy says, it's brilliant, Mitch. I don't know why every major city didn't structure these budgets in this way 70 years ago. I am hoping Pittsburgh will consider offering insurance coverage in Oil City after you have rolled out the program. It would be great if you could help a small city like mine, since we don't have the capital to start our own insurance company like a city the size of Pittsburgh. Mitch says, I can propose it through the voting process in the new year. It will be up for a vote, and I hope it passes. Lucy says, how is your fight with the state of Pennsylvania going? Mitch says, the governor is kowtowing to the politicians and fighting the class action in court. I hope you don't act like this when you are president. His argument is that because everyone uses smartphones and they are equipped with GPS that displays the current speed limit, the state doesn't have to change its signage and that the case is a non-starter. We're going to come back with the argument that Pennsylvania should act as the state of California does and set stricter standards for the automobile industry. Based off of the governor's argument, we believe every auto in PA should allow the driver's smartphone to connect to the black box system in the vehicle. This would allow the traffic app to monitor the speed of each vehicle without relying on outside radar to catch speeders. Lucy says, so each vehicle would be equipped with its own onboard computer that reports its speed to a police system. Mitch says most vehicles already have these computers that record speed in case of a crash. We want to mandate that these computers connect with a smartphone. Then we can develop a system with the phones to report when someone is speeding. We would, of course, build in a safety buffer. Say if someone needed to go above the speed limit to quickly get past a tractor trailer and stay out of their blind spot. So vehicles may be able to speed for 3 or 4 minutes, but if they sustain high speeds for longer, they will receive a ticket. Lucy says if both Pennsylvania and California set this mandate, you may be able to convince manufacturers to build vehicles that comply. Of course, a large ride-sharing company like mine would sweeten the pot. Mitch says your company has expanded nicely, and the roads are safer because of it. If your company DD or Duber lobbied for this mandate, it would sway auto manufacturers more quickly. What would it take to get you on board? Lucy says, we want more exemptions for our drivers in your traffic app. You currently give EVs 10 warnings per year. We want our drivers to have 20 warnings per year, especially if you are going to expand the app to new markets. Mitch says, I can make suggestions to politicians in these new markets as to how the app should be used, but as you know, Pittsburgh is the only market with direct democracy, so it won't be up for vote. I doubt that we could favor your company DD any more than a company like Duber. Lucy says, someday DD will be as large as Duber, and you will have to cater to me the way you do to your buddy Mike Romano. Mitch says, I hope that day comes. I'm involved with one of the largest EV manufacturers in the world, and that company is stuck on autonomous vehicles. Duber has its autonomous vehicle division, so I have to cater to them to make everyone happy. I hope you never have to appease eccentric billionaires. And that's the end of Chapter 12. Before I get to the sponsors, I just end each chapter by saying there are some ideas that could be developed by technology companies or could be the premise of a technology startup, as well as other ideas for patents and just political ideas in general. I've saved some ideas to develop myself in a technology startup, and I'm hoping that Season 3 of this podcast will be exactly how I start a technology startup. I want the company to be transparent, which means that all issues within the company will be brought up for vote by the investing class, and the investing class can follow along on this podcast, and I will in depth discuss the issues up for vote so that people understand it in layman's terms, and then it'll come up for vote through an email or a website. That being said, my idea for a technology startup begins with a social media platform designed to fight misinformation. So if you'd like to hear the description of this platform, I can email it to you if you're interested in investing, or if you're a computer science person that would be interested in helping with the project. Looking for computer science people willing to partner up with me. I've saved some money to invest in starting the company, and I'm looking for computer science people to develop the platform. I would stay on the investor communication side, the idea side, and the nuts and bolts running of the company side of things. And obviously, I'm not a computer science person. I can't develop this on my own. So you can contact me through either my websites, plotm.com or mitchformayor.com. And there's a contact form on either of those sites that go to my email, and just specify whether you're a computer science person, what kind of computer science, if you're front end, back end, project manager, or if you're an investor. So thanks for listening again, and here are my sponsors. Looking for camping along the historical French Creek in Pennsylvania? Look no further than French Creek Farm. It's family camping at its best. Camp at any of the sites along French Creek and kayak right into your camp, the trapper cabin, or the cottage. Hey, while you're in Utica, Pennsylvania, why not stop by Krabby Kelly's General Store and Bar and get yourself a drink? With frozen concoctions and a full bar, you can get cans of beer, bottles of beer, or a full bar. Mixed drinks available. Come to Krabby Kelly's for all your STDs. That's snacks, tobacco, and drinks. Planning a trip to Incheon, South Korea? Well, no trip is complete until you've stopped at Liquor Burger. This establishment has food and drinks available in Incheon, South Korea. Stop by Liquor Burger today and tell them Mitch sent you. Do you need a logo or design screen printed or embroidered on a garment of clothing? Look no further than 542 Prints. Go to 542prints.com today and contact them about any design you need embroidered or screen printed. And I'd just like to remind people, if you could, find it in your heart to go to look up Disability TV on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. It's outdoor video, hiking, kayaking, biking in HD, shot with a GoPro, and there are playlists that combine all of the video for one whole hike or one whole kayak trip. The goal is to form a co-op of photographers that come from the disabled community that can shoot sporting events and hopefully develop a trading card company based off of that, and maybe even cover things like the Paralympics, the Special Olympics, with better coverage than what they're getting now. So it's a fledgling media company for disabled people, by disabled people, and I hope you'll help develop it by subscribing today. Thanks for listening, and tune in for Chapter 13. 2 more chapters, 14 chapters total. Hang in there, keep listening. Thanks for listening, and take care.